Hey crew, it's Pitt, and I'm back with another PittCast. Today we're going to be joined once again by Jason from Green Country Agroforestry for an exploration of the Jewish alphabet and what some of the spiritual significance might be behind it. Today, I believe we are finally getting past the actual letters and into the actual words. Some more of the esoteric meanings, maybe some music theory, maybe some wave theory. Maybe we'll get a little deeper into some actual knowledge, which is the point of what we are doing here. We are trying to extract knowledge in real time from those who can share it. Before we begin, however, if you are unfamiliar with me, any of my unconventional beliefs, or if at any point in time I lose you in terminology, there are several playlists linked in the big box down below, along with the link for my book and my availability for consultations in MBTI, tarot, and spiritual advice. With that being said, we're going to dive in and bring Jason up and welcome, Jason.
Hi. How are you doing?
I'm good. How about you, brother? You doing right?
Hanging in there. Every day's an adventure.
Been a wild week.
Very wild week. Yeah, every day's an adventure.
Yeah.
And really, guys, I'm exploring and discovering things as we go along. I'm more like the kid that's coming home from school going, "Hey, everybody, guess what I had in school today?" Not the master. Hopefully, by what we're doing, we can help you find your way to the actual master and teacher, which is, I think, actually covered that on week 1. So,
yeah. Right.
so
everybody
go
knows
back.
it.
So anytime you think we're getting a swelled head here or anything, just go back to week 1. We covered all this.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Brother at best. Some guy I saw on the internet once said, and I decided to begin my own investigation. That probably would be the best way to think of me. There you go. Like smoke gone. Somebody said once, and I looked, and lo and behold, I'm on my own journey. There you go. Okay, so yeah, I'm actually called Jason, called No Sage here for the sake of not getting anybody confused about anything. Today we are going to start covering things outside of just the letters of the alphabet. Letters of the alphabet were learned with the help of Rabbi Raskin's Letters of Light, available at Shabbat.org. I'm not really plugging, it's just that's where it came from, along with some of my own insights, which hopefully are not too far off base. But then again, I'm thinking of it as more of a functional language at one point in time and not a means of propping up a dogma. And so different sides.
Makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, different sides. My family is Hebrew, not necessarily Jewish.
And I get those mixed up.
It's
been interchangeable my whole life.
Well, it's because right now about the only examples we have that we think of as being Hebrew are Jewish. But then again, Abram did have other sons. One of them was named Yochtan. Yochtan might have survived in myth on the other side of the mountains as the father of the Jotun, but the people living down south, all down the Arabian Peninsula, were descended from this guy, and they followed the pattern. They established the area, set up a garden and an oasis and everything, set up civilization, and then their sons went down the coast, boom, boom, down the coast. So there's an entire list of people that run their descent from him. So I was like,
right down the coast.
Yeah, somebody actually followed the directions. That's cool. But then again, what are they doing nowadays? I don't think that's what was planned either. So,
right.
we may have all fallen into, forgive the word, barbarism. Right?
Yeah.
Are we living as civilized beings, or are we all somewhat barbarous if we're taking the term to be not civilized, barbaric?
Right.
Even here in the United States, is our behavior, is it civilized or is it barbaric? Perhaps we need to do some self-examination. Anyway,
we do. Anybody even on the path and thinking that they know it needs to do self-reflection. You are never at a point where you do not need to self-reflect. So
all the time.
That's one of the main things I try to show people.
and sometimes tie off onto other mountaineers. That way, if you do slip, somebody can help recover you.
Right. Somebody set an anchor point, please.
Yeah, somebody please. I'm seeing things that are driving me nuts, and I don't know which ones are true and which ones are not, but they're coming mainline from the source. And it's the serpent lies, not because it's trying to deceive you. It's just because it's the only way it knows how to be.
Right. Snake's gonna bite you. That's what they do.
All right, so we're going to cover some spectrum of light stuff. This is not really a good example because the colors aren't right, but it's cute. It's a ball of light, and of course we'll start out with light. If you ever look at a very, very dark, Jeremy, if you could go ahead and throw up the man diagram. We may as well jump into the weird stuff. We'll jump into the weird woo woo right off the bat. That way we can. I
am all about the weird woo woo. I am a weird woo woo woo. So.
Now,
I do weird things, and this looks very familiar to my week.
Does this look very familiar yet somehow strange? All right, very familiar yet somehow strange. This diagram is wrong. It is wrong. Yeah. It's totally wrong, everybody. Just so you know, right off the bat, this diagram is wrong. This isn't even the way I see it. So this is just
yeah, there's a lot going on in here.
This is just a bunch of rough representations going on, trying to show us the concept of wavelengths, overlapping wavelengths, different sources, which we'll refer to sometimes as chakras, but we'll also call them wells, because this is another term.
Energy well
that has been used. And of course, you may notice that there are a couple of black and white lines. There's precisely two black and white lines. Now, those are representative of what I'm going to call the data stream. Some people might call it the serpent. May have other terms. If you look at those two central ones, as they intersect across the other spectrums of light, they create these little rungs like a ladder ascending and descending, and some people might call it a ladder.
Looks like a double helix of the DNA.
Yeah, depending and like I said, this is not how I see it.
Right.
I don't really see it. I don't. My perception is entirely different. It's more of a feel sort of thing.
Right.
And trying to interpret an individual doesn't exactly work precisely. So I'm kind of in Jeremy's boat here. But if you were looking, this is probably not how it looks like to you. so feel free to correct and provide a more accurate illustration, pretty please.
Yeah.
All right. But what we've got here is a central figure with a man that's in touch with the data stream represented by the black and white lines. That is the things going from the limitless light on the one side. Let me line up with the light. Here we go. Now I've got a halo. All right. So the limitless light on the one side and the infinite night on the other. And in between these two extremes, we have the expression of what we call reality, which is all intersections of waveform experiencing each other.
Yeah, that's very good.
All right. We're in the middle of this.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of this. And we're receiving
by other metals.
Right. Intersecting with all other kind of waveforms and patterns, and our perception of reality is limited to the senses that we have access to and the range in those senses that we have access to. And some things, whenever you step outside of the normal perception, just doesn't relate, and it's hard to just kind of have to be there.
Yeah,
sort of.
Yeah, that is true. That is very true.
So talking in things of analogy and talking in things in terms of metaphor, and whenever Jesus says, "I will speaking things of the physical because they'll be related to the spiritual." He's trying to say we can't give you the experience. You have to go within. Whenever you're going within, you need sort of a signpost or guides to let you know what's going on. People have traveled these roads before. All right. So most people, whenever they come into contact with the data stream, they come into contact with one aspect of it. They usually don't come into contact with both snakes at the same time. If they even in their entire lifetime come into contact with one of those snakes, it's usually only even one aspect of the snake and not the other aspect of the snake. And because that's an issue, and also limitations and perceptions, people get really confused about what in the heck we're talking about. That wasn't the experience that I had. Well, that wasn't the experience. Everybody was actually having a form of the same experience.
We can all look at the same elephant and see a different
Yeah,
part.
the wise men of Hindustan is very apt there because everybody's seeing something a little bit differently. All right. But at the essential core of it, we have polarity, which is being represented by a white line and a black line in this illustration, which are attempting to balance each other.
Yep.
Now, whenever you're looking at light, as I was getting ready to say, like at a red light, the bright red light, and you hold that in front of you for a moment, and then look away into a blank space, you will see an after image, but the after image won't be red. It's going to be green. It's because the photosensitive receptors in your eyes are flooded with the red, and now as they're purging, you're going to see the after image. But the after image is the complementary color. Okay, right. Very well. What we're having here is from the infinite, or from the limitless light to the infinite void. In between them is a variation in a scale of complementary color, primary and complementary color. Some people see the complementary color, that's where they're attuned to, and that's what they are most perceptive to. Some people see the primary, that's what they're attuned to, that's what they're most perceptive to.
Right.
Very rarely you'll have somebody that goes, oh, I see how they come together and complete each other. But constantly, the universe is coming together and completing these reflections and these emanations of light.
Right.
Reflections and emanations of light is exactly what Sephiro is supposed to mean in Kabbalistic terms. We'll go ahead and proceed to the Zohar illustration of the Tree of Life. Oh my goodness, we're just going to get crazy today.
Hold on, that's in the other folder. Give me 1 second.
All right. We'll cover what the Kabbalists are doing real quick and briefly. And then go on from there. All right, so there we've got our Kabbalistic Tree of Life. This is what you'll find in Zohar, and it has all the names of the Sephiro. I included separate files with them in the Hebrew script if we want to go into them, break them down, and look at them that way. I don't know if we will. I'm just saying, I don't know if we will.
Okay.
All right, but I guess this is going to be your introduction to Kabbalah. And before anybody jumps all over the place and says, "Hey, you're not a good teacher for Kabbalah," yeah, I know. I would be the last person in the world for you to choose as a teacher for Kabbalah because I'm going to teach you everything wrong.
I don't know.
As we will proceed to very shortly, I will show you what I did to just murder the tree. But before I murder, I'm going to show you what they started with. So hopefully maybe that explains how I murdered it and why I murdered it. All right. So the Zohar idea was you have 22 paths between 10 different divine emanations called Sephiro. These are not physical. These are not beings. There is no ego attached to these whatsoever. If you're attaching ego to these things, you're doing it wrong. And incidentally, the Enochian thing attaches ego to the Sephiro.
That doesn't surprise me. I haven't done a study of Enochian magic, so I don't have enough.
So all you John D followers, I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, you may be doing something and you may be getting results. I know what you're doing and I know the results you're getting. You're doing low scale, puny, teeny weeny, like next to nothing children's table magic.
You're still in the microcosm.
You're not seeing the big picture here. All right, I've got a cup full of marbles over here. Okay, so once we divorced ourselves from the idea that the Sephiro are beings, they're not angels, they're not divine beings themselves. These are aspects, perhaps, of divine conscious thought that begin at Keter up there at the top and end at Malkut, which is the kingdom. It's also the voice that speaks the word of being so that this comes into being. But Malkut is that very last point where we go from the world of consciousness and spirit into the world of physical reality. Well, this doesn't work for us as beings in the physical reality. That's all up there, right? Doesn't do anything for us other than we can look at it and study it and go, okay, we maybe see how things correlate to create the world, and that's nice. Maybe that's nice. And people do like to use it in gematria for divination purposes. I think this is a horrible idea. I'd rather go live a life than try to figure out what the signs are and then try to follow the signs.
Yeah.
You know,
like I can explain why people do that using MBTI, but
right, it's like
nobody will listen.
It's you've got a person that's living in the life of their head. Oh my goodness, I saw this on Facebook.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna steal it. Somebody had this little. Did you ever notice about this in Fifth Element? No, was it on Facebook? No, I might be a liar. No, it may have been on YouTube Shorts. But anyways, did you ever notice this about the Gary Oldman character in Fifth Element? How he always has a ring behind his head. And I looked at it with, and it's also a blue ring too. And that matches up to the third eye mental aspect chakra. So he's mentally activated, but he's probably so mentally focused, he doesn't do the smart thing, which is engage his heart thinking and check out what that spirit is that he's engaging with before he opens the door to it. Right?
Interesting.
And of course, that's his entire character's. That's his entire character's problem. Is he's in that mental thinking, and he goes, "I think I know something," and he's pursuing that "I think I know," and he isn't remembering to process it with proper thinking. Anyway, I was getting off on a tangent.
I have a tendency to do that.
All right, from the top to bottom, Keter is also called the crown, and otherwise known as the crown, glory of God. The connection above Keter would be Ein Sof, which is not shown in this diagram. Ein Sof would be first cause, like what really is the
right.
But this is just kind of a way of trying to figure out what went up to before the L. It's all speculative. Knowing that it's all speculative, you're free to do what you like. The paths that are shown here are supposed to be representative of the 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet. You'll notice that there are 22 paths between each of these things. There is a path shown here between Chokhmah and Binah, and I think that's a horrible idea. There should not be a direct path in between Chokhmah and Binah, which we'll get into momentarily. But once again, once you understand what these things are for, you can start drawing your own tree, which is precisely what I did. And instead of paths, I decided we should have arrows pointing instead. That way, we don't have a direct two-way communication. We now have a flow chart, because what we're really trying to do is program consciousness. Whose consciousness? Well, first off, our own. We want to program our own consciousness to bring ourselves to a better alignment with, because we understood previously that we need to align ourselves, the child, with the parent, right? We want to align ourselves with the source that we want to see manifest in our life. So if we want to align ourselves with good, we want to align ourselves with the God who is good. How do we do that? Well, we do that by trying to be kind in our own personal manifestation. And then we look for ways to seek the good in all things. Look for ways to provide the complementary light to complete the good. And then if we find that what's being presented is not something that the good can be completed, maybe we try to find a way to disrupt that signal, attenuate it, or change it so that good can be completed. That's called magic. Okay. This is a big cluster over here on the right hand side. That is the right hand side, right? Okay. It's got colors in it, but to let you know, the colors that are in it are not specifically the rainbow colors associated with the chakras. They're put there for particularly for my help in the sense of being the flow chart. All right. We'll go ahead and close that down for a minute and go back to the regular boring tree. Yeah, this one. Okay. So up and down the left and right hand side of the tree, we have Sephiroth that are considered to be masculine and feminine. Masculine on one side, feminine on the other side. All right. And we have Chokhmah, Chesed, and I know it says Chesed. It's actually that is a Het If we look at the character, maybe we should have looked at the character. Anyway, don't worry about it. We can do it later if you like.
Yeah, we'll
and then that sah down there, and all of these are considered feminine aspects. Let's explain. Chokhmah is also known as Sophia in Gnostic tradition. It is Athena in Hellenic tradition. It is Mother Wit if we're following the wisdom of the All Father, right? Never be on your way without Mother Wit, guys. This is Chokhmah, this is Sophia, this is Athena, this is wisdom in Jewish, but wisdom is probably a bad word for this because it's not real wisdom. It's intellect. It's yada yada. It's I know, right? It's a version. It's an untried idea. And underneath that we have chesed. Chesed is mercy. Best description: mercy, compassion.
Okay.
All right, which is considered to be a feminine virtue. And then we have netzah.
That is absolutely understandable after reading the book.
Or victory. And victory is often depicted as the winged female figure bestowing the laurel wreath upon the victor, who's typically male in the statues and the images, but it's the feminine aspect of victory, the Valkyrie, the handmaiden that brings the glory, right? Then we'll look over there to the other side. On the masculine side, there's Hod. Hod is the glory or the splendor. Moving up directly above that is Gevurah. Gevurah is opposed by Chesed. Well, Chesed is mercy, so Gevurah must be. Can we fill in the blanks? Can anybody guess what Gevurah must be? If Chesed is mercy, Gevurah is
cruelty.
Right. Strength. Yeah. Strength.
Well,
and
of course, not the opposite of mercy. That's a misappropriation.
Well, of course, always, right? We have to misappropriate everything and mistake what virtues are and what the fruit of virtue is for virtue itself. And that's because we're so eager to look for things to fit into a model and we don't examine them closely and realize maybe sometimes the models aren't universal and they're all equally useful for their own purposes. Maybe my flat iron is good for preparing tortillas, but it's not the thing I should cook rice in.
No. Procedures have their place. Understandings have their place too, and there's a difference between those.
So Gevurah being strength from Gevur, and then you have, if we're going to add an L at the end, so it can be the strength of the Lord who is God. We have Gabriel or Gabriel. And now we know where the angel Gabriel got his name. It's from somebody taking a Sephiro and trying to anthropomorphize it into a being.
That makes sense.
Sorry, Gabe. You can still hold my umbrella. It's fine. All right. Moving on up to Binah. Binah is understanding. Sounds more like wisdom to me. Real wisdom would be understanding, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would be the practical application of intelligence.
Right.
Like that should be exactly the opposite. If that's wisdom is masculine and intelligence is feminine, that's exactly right.
And of course, this is the reason why I decided to erase the path between Chokhmah and Binah, because I realized that the only way you're going to get through Binah is through an examination and experiential process.
Right. You have to experience it.
You can't just take it across. If you accept it, then what you're doing is going, I'm going to take what somebody said, and I'm going to move this to my foundation of knowledge and incorporate it into my foundation of knowledge as if it was knowledge, but it really is just belief.
Yeah.
All right.
Because knowledge without proof is belief.
And that's how we wind up with a flaw in the crystal. And whenever it comes under stress, it shatters and you have a mental breakdown because now your worldview is broken and you have to put it back together somehow.
Yeah, because I skipped like Netzka and Hod, right? What was that again? That's
Netzah is the victory and Hod is the splendor.
Right. So what?
Yeah, that gets confusing. Could you use better words for those?
Absolutely. Like that.
Okay, somebody gave us better words for those. He was an excellent. I know we're not supposed to say teacher, but he was an excellent teacher. Some people would say master, and We don't know if we got his name right, but he taught in Nazareth about 2,000 years ago, and he used the terms power and glory.
Even that, I don't know. Because
Well,
glory is...
I'll explain. I'll break it down here in a minute. I'll break it down here in a minute.
That's fine.
I'll break it down here in a minute.
I get deep on wording. And
I'll break it down why it works here.
I'm looking at this like, what?
Okay. So we've got these three.
Like, this looks like some Aleister Crowley stuff.
All right. We got 3 tiers here. Chokmah and Binah, that's all mental stuff. Right. That's your blue chakra, third eye activation. We haven't even gotten into what Dayat is. We haven't gotten into Tiferet is.
The third eye is not blue.
We'll get to We'll get to that in a minute.
The throat is blue.
Okay.
The third eye is violet.
Third eye is violet. All right.
And then India.
It
lines up exactly with the rainbow.
Or whatever the heck that thing is. Okay, well, yeah, maybe that's again why his problem is like, oh, it's all ego.
Because I mean, it's red, orange, yellow, blue, indigo, violet.
Throat is ego. I speak my reality and I know nothing else. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So we're getting off track here. Okay. So then we have the middle, which is this is like might and mercy. That's heart stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's all heart and emotion. And then we've got power and glory or victory and splendor. What? Well, that's actually physical material stuff. All right. Then straight down the middle of the line, in between, we have Dayat. Dayat is emptiness, and Dayat is also true knowledge. True knowledge comes from
inspiration. So it's skipping intelligence and wisdom and getting it direct from source.
Right. But we'll fix that in the way I'm drawing the tree later whenever we deconstruct it. But one of the things you want to notice is that all of the paths lead to this one thing here, Tiferet. What is this? Tiferet.
That's got to be the heart.
Tiferet.
Philosopher's stone.
Tiferet is beauty. Beauty? Well, I guess if we're going to be referring to all of this as reflections of light, and Sephiroth as being vessels that hold and reflect light, that modify, hold, and reflect light in the same way that, say, attuned strings modify and transfer a harmonic vibration.
Yeah. So that's a direct one-on-one correlation with the heart.
Right. Everything must flow through that central perception of what is this thing? Is it beautiful or is it ugly? And this is why Tiferet, the hidden meaning of Tiferet is truth. And this is where the sword of truth resides, and it's, of course, corresponding to your solar plexus chakra. If you're looking for chakras or wells, we're going to use the term well here because these are like wells from which one draws the living water. So
they're saying that this Tiferet is the solar plexus.
Right.
That is definitely ego-centered.
Well, this is remember, this is God. Well, this is supposed to be the model for God.
Yeah, well, I know, but like even then, God's heart would be the binder between the as above and the as below. Well, like the as below is well,
remember, this is all speculating upon what exists on the other side of.
Well, yeah,
this.
You're right.
You know,
I get that. It's all speculation.
But
like,
who's holding whose hands are making this division? We have no idea. It's a model for what's on the other side of this division. So it's pure speculation here. We have to take this and transform it into something that we can use, right?
Right, but I mean, then in that case, us assigning that the solar plexus is just not going to work. Like the solar plexus deals with digestion. It deals with all of your internal organs. It's not the part that processes good and evil. Like and that's yet, your heart.
And yet, whenever we ask somebody if to use their intuition as to whether something is true or not, we tell them to check with their what.
I get that. And you don't want to know what a gut reaction is? It is the interaction between two chakras.
Right.
And so
it's exactly. So it's performing an acid test.
Yeah.
Where is the acid? It's in your gut.
Well, we're just going to have to agree to disagree on that one because
so you wind up being untruthful. You wind up with a burn in your throat.
That's
You
fine.
get
But
a
even that's
literal
gotta pass
physical
by the heart.
response from that feedback system.
It's fine. Like we can move on, but like
Anyway, I'm trying to speculate as to why they set it up this way.
right.
That's the
Well, I
reason.
get that, but like
All right,
my understanding also is that this is entirely wrong because the foundation
right. Yeah. So
so
we're
like
like
this is coming from the control system that is already
before we move
broken.
on. Once again, we wanted to mention this is all wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. And like
Just in case
that's
anybody forgot it.
yeah. And like I get spun up over stuff like this. Like you could see it in my videos. Like I get upset when like if you're gonna have a diametric opposite, then it should be one. Like it shouldn't be two things that aren't even the same. And so like that I get upset about that because you're trying to pass on wisdom and
right. And the first
it's
thing I'm
not.
going to tell you, and probably the first thing that any Kabbalistic teacher is going to tell you, is you have to draw your own tree.
Right.
This is just an example. Maybe if you examine this one, like I'm doing, and you are doing, you go, there shouldn't be a path here. That's
right.
what I said, right?
Right.
And you said you shouldn't to connect everything to here. It should be done a different way. Right. Everyone has to draw their own tree. And now you know why the Kabbalistic literature is so freaking complicated.
Yeah.
It's a quagmire because everybody that dove into it drew their own tree, developed their own meanings of their own systems.
It absolutely explains why everything doesn't work.
Well, you can't take it and try to take it and transport it from here and put it here and have it just work. No. You can look at it and say, oh, okay, I see what they did. I wouldn't do it this way. I would arrange it like so. And then you draw your own tree. And then you test it and see if it actually flows and works the way you thought it did. And then if it doesn't, you go back and you redraw your tree and you refine the process. And maybe in the course of all that, you discover new wisdom that you'll be able to take and apply to your foundation, which you use for your fundamental alchemy, where you continue to refine your process.
Like I changed terminology this week from gluttony and temperance to gluttony and denial because denial is a better expression of the opposite of gluttony. Then temperance is a median in the middle, so it didn't make sense. I needed to fix it. So I did that. Because
I'm using temperance to mean something entirely different.
Right, and it didn't work. It wasn't right. So it needed to be fixed. And so denial is a much better expression of the opposite of greed. Or gluttony, not greed.
Right. But the way I approach it, I don't even concern myself with the negative aspects because I'm working on growing a garden that's filled with flowers. And
that's the way to do it.
And as I'm doing it, it's like, the weeds do pop up. There's a use for them. Look at that. That's biomass. It's awesome. Yeah. There's a purpose for everything and a place for everything. It's great. All right. So down the middle, we were looking at, we had Yesod. Yesod is foundation. That's the word for foundation. So I think we have everything there.
Yeah, I think.
All right. Great. Let's look at the Volknot and or Triskelion real quick. All right, so that's great in comparison too. So along this tree diagram, there's both of them. Along the tree diagram, we noticed that there were three different planes. We had the middle, we had the physical, and then there was the emotional plane. So we have three different planes in these old symbols. One of them, of course, is Norse. It's the Volknot on the left there, drawn with a nice, pretty gold tone because I like it. And they're showing kind of the same thing. Something interesting about the Volknot is if you go ahead and close it up and you look at the negative space created by those three interlocking triangles, the thing that's in the middle is called a Triskelion. The Triskelion is the object on the other side there. This is both a Greek and a Celtic symbol. It's really flippin' old.
Yeah.
Its purpose is to remind the student of those three separate planes which all must be harmonized in the individual to have a balanced and harmonious life. To make the magic happen, you can't overlook any aspect.
That is true.
They all must come together and they all must harmonize.
They must, indeed.
One must, as Sargon said, looking at the image on the left, conquer the mountains of bronze axes and descend and conquer the lowlands as well. And how to capture Dilmun, how to achieve one heart's desire, well, that's gardening, folks. Let's go ahead and start breaking these images down into individual segments, starting with let's start with, well, hang on. Let's go back to the man standing there with the four arms diagram real quick, because here we're just going to go ahead and show this a little bit differently. The big ovals down there at the bottom, we have a dark one at the bottom that goes off the page. This is obviously outside of you. We're going to call this one our eternal night, endless void, etc., etc. The antipode of negative, which still contains, because of the principle of polarity, a little bit of the light within it. And then on the top side, I did a really, 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 really ultra light violet, almost white, as that goes into the light. So the quality of light and the spectrum that you see, so to speak, or experience, might be a better way to put it, is a blending of those things from both those extremes. All right. In order to get to those wells and draw the water from the wells, we have to find a harmonious balance at those junctures. And some of them are related to primal philosophy, and some of them are related to your own internal struggle and conflict. To harmonize those, we'll work at each, and we'll start at the bottom and work our way up, just so that we know that the arrows are related to those other qualities that are coming from other realms. Whenever we see the diagram with the arrows on it, the arrows are indicating qualities coming from, reflected by, or provided by, illuminated by other realms. All right. The lower one, which is the one that shows kingdom. All right. So I did some weird stuff. Instead of having Malkut, I show us Yesod at the bottom, the foundation. Foundation for a human being is the root chakra. Root chakra, typically we think of as being at the bottom of the spinal column.
Yeah.
However, think on this for a moment. Whenever we're doing things like astral projection, seeing ourselves in dreams, or maybe we find ourselves on the far side of the river Styx and wondering how we're supposed to get around, we look down and notice that we have no legs. This could be a problem. Sorry, I'm bouncing around and the floor's unstable. This could be a problem. Perhaps we might want to start thinking about extending our awareness of that chakra, this energetic center, to include our legs and the labor points at the bottom of the feet.
Yeah.
Because they are a part of the being that we're expressed as. It's kind of unfortunately, we tend to forget that.
Yeah, there are minor chakra energy centers that are governed by the major.
So it's a minor detail here, but it's part of the being that, and perhaps, more mastery and control include the whole of you.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely it does.
All right. So you notice I removed Malkut, the kingdom. Why is the kingdom not here? We're not God.
That is absolute truth.
We're not God. We interact with the kingdom in a different way. We need to start from our foundation, which is what we have. Our foundation of knowledge, foundation of belief. If all we have is belief to start with, well, that's what we've got. It's not the best, but hopefully we can build something less shaky from it if we have good sources to rely upon. So from there, we have the red arrow. I think that's a red arrow. That's pointing up here to Netzat, victory, power, creation. What is the power that you have? the power that you have is the power of creation. It's always on, it's always working. It doesn't matter whether you want it to work or not. Whenever you live, breathe, go about your business, whenever you're thinking, whenever you're acting, and whenever you're speaking, you're manifesting into reality with your power of creation. You've been doing it. Most of us have been doing it unconsciously and unaware for most of our lives.
Yes.
Drifting through life, manifesting a world that we live in, that we're a part of, and then complaining about the results because we're just seeing reflected back to us the world that we're creating.
Yeah, and then the complaining just creates more of it.
Right. Yeah. All right. So from this, and of course, Jesus is saying, "For thine is the power and the glory." This is important. If it was my power and it was my glory, then I'd be very limited in what I can do. I am just a man. I can only move so many rocks a day.
Right.
But if I'm investing my energy towards something greater that goes beyond myself, say the eternal kingdom of the heavens, then I am investing in the field, so to speak, rather than in my own personal kingdom.
Right.
I'm investing in the larger kingdom, which pays off in greater dividends, not in the same way, though. All right. So it's important to make sure that you don't starve.
Absolutely.
Make sure you don't starve, and then you go, wow, and I have excess, and I have friends and neighbors and even complete strangers that have lack. Here. Pay it forward. We're investing in the field. We're putting into the field for future harvests, not necessarily even for ourselves. Yeah.
Right. For me, this is the willpower.
Right.
It is the desire to create.
Right.
The want to create physical emanation.
Right. Now, I showed two different colors coming out of here because there's a choice to be made here, actually, with your harmonization between power and glory, right? Are you going to invest in the field, or are you going to invest in your own immediate wants and desires? Most people invest in the worldly kingdom, right? That's the broad orange arrow. That'll follow us up there to Hod, splendor, glory, and a reflection. It's that anyway, regardless of what you do. The other one is to invest in the field, to say, okay, you know what? I'm going to go make sure that the hoverflies are getting fed. These little tiny critters that they fly around. They like little tiny itty bitty flowers, like carrot flowers and fennel and stuff like that. That's what they feed on.
Little bitty flowers.
They're little, yeah, and they're not pretty insects or anything. But they go and they lay their eggs on some of our pest insects. They lay their eggs on the backs of beetles.
Nice.
And then the eggs hatch out, and the larvae eat the beetle from the beetle or the caterpillar or whatever it is from the inside out, and they control pests.
That's excellent. Right?
So by investing in the field, by investing in this other life that really directly it doesn't anything, but I'm investing in the field, creates possibilities for other life, which means work gets done that I didn't have to do myself, that also, as you'll see, reflects back on the whole, even without me doing it, because I chose to invest here instead of, I chose to invest in the field instead of here, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, all the way does.
So whenever people do this consistently, and some few other things happen, you'll notice that there's some more arrows pointing into that little round circle that says the kingdom is manifest. Some other things do need to have happen. It's not just you. You have to do your part.
Right.
But then the kingdom but then that kingdom that we're talking about, the kingdom of heaven, becomes manifest. And the orange arrow there, you notice it's really big, it's really wide. A little tiny bit of it does overlap into that little circle. So there's kind of a keyhole that you can look into and kind of get a glimpse of the kingdom as you're passing by. But a lot of people don't stop and look, and a lot of people miss the point. All right, on over to Hod, glory, splendor, reflection. Is this making any sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Hod, splendor, glory, and reflection. Physical manifestation only here, people. This is, of course, what were you doing? What was your purpose? Did you invest in the kingdom? Did you invest in the personal? You're going to reflect that, and the glory of that is going to be reflected outwards regardless.
Right.
The people are going to see, yeah, he's really doing well for himself.
Yeah.
Right? Or yeah, that's a really holy man. See how well he dresses and how loudly he sings and how well he gives at church.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, all of the
Important.
you can have personal gifts that are of a spiritual nature that don't really do you a whole lot of good in all actuality. Being seen as a holy person doesn't make you holy, but it might buy you some street cred.
It might get you a plane.
And it might
Or
get you,
two.
hey, yeah, it might get you a plaque at the local Rotary Club, and that's fine. That's fine, especially whenever people can look and go, yeah, that's my dad, that's my grandpa. He was a great man. You know what he did? And they can look at that and be inspired to greatness themselves. That's a good and positive thing.
Right.
There is a certain aspect of glorification and ego that's not bad.
There's nothing wrong with taking appropriate credit for a job.
Yeah,
well
exactly.
done,
Appropriate.
but it doesn't make you
And
better than anyone.
yeah, right. And there is so much a thing as being so disgustingly humble that you forgot to actually give the credit where it needed to go, which was the ultimate teacher of all, which is the Father Eternal. But you could actually be so humble to cut yourself off.
Yeah.
Because you forgot to remember, oh, yeah, I am a child of God. That's not a vain boast.
It's not. Everyone is.
Whenever you realize
Everyone
that's not,
intentionally created by the creator of the universe.
I had a huge problem with this because, peacock syndrome. It's like, am I being boastful? Am I being the peacock? Am I being that kid that says, my daddy is God, my daddy is God, my daddy is God, until the people say, yeah, prove it, fly the chariot. I don't want to put myself in that position. So I've been kind of not shining as bright, maybe, as I could. Oh well. Hopefully I don't want to confuse people either by being too bright. So I'll drink a little bit and be goofy, and people can go, oh, he's just a man. There you go.
I cuss a little bit and get a little mad.
Well, yeah, hopefully not too mad.
Oh no, I don't actually get mad. I get spun up. Like,
been out of shape.
Yeah, there's a big difference. Like, I don't get angry and wrathful and vengeful. Yeah, I get like, no, we got to correct this.
Yeah, that fruit has nasty seed, nasty trees that grows out of it.
It does indeed.
So you'll notice that we've got reflections coming out of kingdom is manifest. That's you could either get golden light out of that because you put golden light into it, or you get whatever you put into it. If you put the self-glorification in it, it's just plain old root chakra stuff. It didn't elevate you any higher. Hopefully you'll want to elevate yourself higher. And whenever you do, you notice that those arrows reflecting down to your sod, your foundation, have the red, they've got the orange, they've got the gold, they've got the green also. What is the green? Well, the green we're going to get to in the next bit. But there's a little bit of it in the kingdom of man is manifest. I put a little touch of that tone in there, right? A little greenish tone in there. So that tells you a little bit that's going to be in there. All right, next one up is going to be the one that has Tiferet. All right, Tiferet, beauty, balance, discipline, and also, yes, truth. Yeah, because the truth of the matter is the Creator created everything perfect, beautiful. And if we're not seeing the beauty, chances are it's because of the position that we are in inside that crystalline matrix and the perspective that we're holding. If we had the Creator's perspective, I guess we'd see the beauty. So if we're not seeing the beauty, chances are it's because we're not holding the same perspective as the Creator. Right. So this is one of those points, and I have this aligned with solar plexus chakra, but green, whereas heart is supposed to be green. But like, once again, the colors I did for the flow chart, not for anything else.
Right.
You have to find the appropriate balance between me and what I need for my being, and what the whole needs for the well-being of the whole. Seeing the beauty is finding your place within that balance, not walking into the jaws of the tiger saying, "What a pretty kitty." And it is. It's a gorgeous, it is a gorgeous, beautiful kitty cat, isn't it? And if you walk into the tiger cage saying "pretty kitty," you're probably going to get eaten.
More than likely. More than likely.
So,
if not eaten, at least gnawed on.
so truth is important
It is.
when assessing beauty.
It is.
Do not be blinded by the sheer glory and brilliance of beauty. In any case, the beauty reflects back into the world either just the beauty of itself, what it is, that golden light, or if you're manifesting a particular kingdom, it may manifest other qualities. What other qualities and how much? Well, that depends upon what you put in it. And as I just did arrows, and I have my own particular suggestions in the flowchart, there are certain colors and qualities that aren't going to wind up getting reflected back. Because I wanted to create a rectifier that removes certain qualities.
Okay.
The qualities that tend towards judgment and wrath and condemnation. Because if you just draw those lines and it goes straight back and forth, well, then you've got a recurring harmonic resonance going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. This is no good. You don't want that. You want to be able to clarify. And clarification means you work through this process to the point where you get to understanding without the feedback loop going interference. You go, no, let's get to understanding. Okay, now we have understanding. What do we want to do with it? Do we want to express it? If we have understanding, we can express it. And we can either express it in some physical aspect, or we can express it internally. Right?
Okay.
And for this, I didn't bring a diagram. It's the tree, fruit, seed diagram. If you have a tree is going to flower. It's going to produce a fruit in the fullness of time. You take the fruit from the tree, you eat the fruit, you consume it. It's going to become part of you. Well, the part that you digest becomes part of you and incorporate. The part that you don't is excreted as waste. But now you have seed. If you take the seed, you plant it and you nurture it, it grows into a tree. The tree is relative in kind to the tree that produced this fruit, but it's not exactly the same. It's changed somewhat. Anytime I pass information to someone, it's like passing you fruit.
Right.
If you consume it, if you make it part of your foundation, the part that you make part of your foundation and the part that you excrete as waste is probably not going to be the same as anybody else's. And therefore, the seed that you plant and nurture and grow is going to produce a tree that's similar in type, but not exactly like whatever it was that I gave you. And because of that, people see a distortion. Try not to see a distortion. See, that's actually the perfection. Is because it's an infinite diversity of ways of expressing things as we go through these. All right. So here we have the middle land, the heartland, where we have on the one side compassion and mercy, and on the other side might and courage, strength. What do we get the power to act from, even except for courage? And where does your courage come from? If your courage comes from anger, right? Those things that we gather up like tinder so that we can strike a spark and flare up anger real quick. You know, well, this stuff burns really hot and it's great fuel and you get a lot of strength from it, but it's gone really quick.
Yeah.
And then you're left exhausted, kind of like Asvatharma whenever the spirits of Shiva left him. You need something that's a better, more enduring, burning fuel for your courage, for your real courage. And so that comes from balancing your might with mercy.
Yeah.
And understanding in truth what your real position is. And from those, you can derive the hidden jewel. All these round things are the hidden jewels. The hidden jewel is, of course, real justice, and the fruit of justice is righteousness. That righteous fruit comes into the beauty of the world that becomes reflected in the kingdom that's manifest. But it's hidden from us because we haven't been harmonizing might and mercy. We haven't been reading the true law written on our hearts. I mean, typically as mankind as a species. I mean, I'm not talking about
Right.
I mean, individuals here and there do get it.
Well, we were immediately diverted from anything resembling doing that.
Right.
Like every control system on the planet is wrenching you in a different direction than you actually should be going.
Right.
So,
And it's so easy to fall into the control systems because they come with a ready answer.
yeah.
And you don't have a ready answer yourself. So you go, well, I guess.
And people are lazy. Like a lot of it comes down to inherent laziness. Like the inability to investigate the thing that you are proclaiming is laziness. Like you should at least know what you are talking about when you are talking. Like you can be corrected, you can be wrong, but you should have at least an understanding. You should have done the background,
Stuff like that.
That's what I have problems with is like if people haven't at least given due consideration. That really bothers me.
And once again, have I mentioned I am not an expert at Kabbalah?
I'm not directing anything at you by any means.
And
ever.
For those who are actual real experts that have spent the thousands and thousands of dollars on the library that it takes. Oh, good Lord, you poor people. I would tell anybody that's the least bit interested, the first book you should get is one called The Pleasant Light. It's called The Pleasant Light by Moses Cordova. That's probably your best introduction. It's going to give you the basics that you need to even figure out if you want to go any further at all with it. And that's going to give you a good enough foundation that you'll be able to do what I'm doing.
Right.
I'm going, this tree, not working for me. Let's just take this away. Let's align this with my chakras. Let's align my chakras with my real experience of being and what my real needs are. What are my real needs? I need to get my heart chakra to open, and that means I need to balance might and mercy. Right?
And practicing kindness might be a really good way to get around that.
And to do that, I need to consult with this balance, which is the knowledge of what true beauty is, the truth, which requires some discipline.
There is definitely discipline involved.
All right. Now we go up from here. We have courage being reflected up, and we've got righteousness being reflected up to the next area. That's the mental plane. And there we have, where's Keter? Oh no. Well, the crown is not for us men.
Ain't that the truth?
If just like I gotta stand up for a second here. Hopefully I can get in frame. Just like the root chakra, we had it down here, right down there, and we're thinking about like one point. We need to be thinking about that as the complete thing going all the way down to the ground, completely and fully. That's root chakra. So we're actually rooted, not hovering in midair while we're standing up, and only rooted when we're sitting down. Because a lot of the practice that you do, specifically walking, is going to require that you're up on your feet, standing up and moving as you're working. So hopefully we can see. Are my arms here? Can we see? I can barely see myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So crown chakra is supposed to start here. Let me. There we go. That's perfect. We even got the light there. That's a perfect illustration. Crown chakra is supposed to start here, but if you were to hold your arms up like Sadiq, right? This angle, this should be just touching the underside of crown chakra. When you bring your arms up, they're coming inside crown chakra. So as you go from here to here, standing up, standing and breathing, if you're doing standing and breathing exercises, you should feel the sensation in your fingers as you're moving through from outside and into and past the boundary of crown chakra. And you should be able to feel it eventually after you've done enough work with this. But it's actually above and stretching up beyond. And it goes on into infinity to the point where it merges with the limitless light. And the same thing happens with root chakra, goes down into infinity as it merges with the eternal void, which is, once again, imagine this. All of this in between here is infinite. Wrap your head around it. Beyond the infinite is what God is. You can't see God. It's not going to happen.
That's definitely a different understanding than what I have.
Right. What we're seeing inside all of this manifestation, and I am the light, what you're saying, Jeremy, that's also the Lucifer. But it calls itself God. And as far as we can see, it is. But we know that there's what's beyond. How do we know that that's what's beyond? Because the thing that said I am the beginning and the end has a beginning and an end.
True. According to what was written.
Right, according to what was written. And according to what you can get to and see. If you're having ascent and if you're having descent, what you can get to and see doesn't show you what's beyond.
Right.
But
you'll never have an understanding.
But you know that there's got to be something beyond. Right. And what may be beyond, I don't know. Perhaps the true creator has got a jar full of marbles sitting on his desk, and occasionally he picks one up and goes, "Oh yeah, this is the reality the earth is in. I wonder what they're up to. Oh yeah, they're talking about me today." Nope, they got it wrong.
That is going to be the only absolute truth.
I mean, really. So whenever we say I know, we are speaking with a voice that is, well, it's empty. That's what it is.
But see,
that means
we don't know that, but we do know
right. This. Right.
And
that's
so
right.
We can differentiate between that and this.
Exactly.
And we can find the difference between that and this. So, which is, by the way, the entire point of this.
Right. So Jeremy was going like, I don't entirely agree with Jason. I don't entirely agree with Jack. Oh, he was talking about something else. Okay, never mind. Which is the reason I didn't get spun up. Like, I know where we're going with all of this. I know where we're going. We're good. We're good. It's all good. Okay, so yeah, our knowledge, our intellect, our chokmah, our Sophia, our Athena, our sudden inspiration, our thing that either came to us because we reached across and we grabbed a hold of that conduit directly and went, oh wow, I got the full thing, the download all of a sudden, or it's the passive idea that just came to us as we're going through our lives, being the being that we are.
Right, the flash of inspiration.
That inspiration. If we were to take it and go, oh, I understand, we moved it all the way over to Binah, and now we're acting as if this was it. We could be right. Sometimes that insight is right on it. I mean, actually, quite often it's right on it, to be perfectly honest. I mean, it's shockingly accurate, most of the time. Shockingly. But then again, sometimes because you are you and you only know what you know, and the being that you are is not, in fact, a God. Sometimes that insight is folly.
Yeah.
And folly is resh. And resh, I think also, if we were to look at some of the Sephirah titles, we shouldn't also think of it as being rash, heedless in all cases. It can also mean unbound and unrestricted. But for a people that are so in love with a control system, unbound and unrestricted seems like folly.
Yeah.
So maybe that's, I mean,
but it can also be folly.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Bounds is definitely folly.
We're going free climbing without a rope. Yep, it's the only way we can get over there.
That was exactly what Crowley did.
Yeah.
Unbind himself completely from the control systems, but take from the control systems what he thought was just fine.
Right, and he didn't
relay it wrong.
Right, and he didn't know what was good information. He didn't know what was not.
Right, he had no discernment.
And he didn't have a system for discerning.
Right.
Hopefully, this helps with a system for discerning. I hope. Maybe it does.
I can understand how you can use this, but to me, my understanding is a different one.
Right.
It works. I've got a 7-point process. You see it, you decide, you learn, you understand. You rise to meet the challenge, you give the appropriate nurturing, and then you reach your harvest.
There you go.
And then there's another path. And so to me, it's just a repeat of the pattern.
I'll send you the graphic that has the steps for a seed in it. It's like that's
Yeah, like
I mean, those are the steps.
Yeah,
those are the steps. And you get to that knowledge. The way I got to that knowledge, incidentally, was through this process,
right.
which allows you to take information, deconstruct it, apply the tests, and you can actually have a physical response. Like, is that really true? My body tells me it's not. Oh, well, maybe it isn't.
You know, and you can definitely do checks with that, like
because you're actually listening to your own system giving you feedback.
And see, it's funny because like one of the things that I have to stand on about what I do this week has been emphasized. Like when I was talking about the aphantasia and how that is different than what I understood.
Right.
Like this was an independent corroboration of the locations visually for me.
Yeah, and that's wild because I don't think I've ever had that.
It was corroborated. Like you're talking about, you can feel.
Yeah.
I can feel all 7 of them independently. And I tried different places to see if it was elsewhere, and it's not. Like, so like I have to take that because I have tested it.
Now, have you started to feel the channels that they take, that the energy takes as it charts from one chakra to the next?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it is a spiral path. Like, but I use both sides. Like I use the positive and the negative in balance. Like that is what I do. And then to me, there is no right way to do it without, because it requires the balance every step of the way to get the conduit correct.
Every problem that you have is caused by an imbalance.
Yes, every one of them. And so if you're not taken into accord, there can't help but be imbalance.
Right. So, and whenever we're saying positive and negative, I know the people have meanings, connotations,
creative, destructive, masculine.
It's not good versus evil. Stop thinking good versus evil.
Yeah, that's
guys. Whenever you decided to have a perspective that was different from the creators, you created the concept of evil, and you came into this world. Yeah. If you want to be able to see the kingdom of heaven, you have to learn how to harmonize with the creator's perspective, and do so in a way that's still allows you to function as a being.
Yeah.
You can harmonize with the creator's perspective and turn into dust. Because the creator is just as happy with dust. I hate to break it to you, but in order to make gold, neutron stars have to die.
Well, I mean, we've managed to do it here.
Yeah. Well, other than like in small scale with
and like we've done it with 3 different elements now.
Yeah, the way it happens out there in the universe, neutron stars are colliding together, and they didn't even become neutron stars until a certain stage after they become supernovas, which means that anything that didn't evacuate out of the planetary systems around that got killed. So if there's intelligent life there, if there's beauty and grace and music, and people who love each other and care about each other and look forward to tomorrow and a whole bunch of other tomorrows for them and their communities and the world that they're nurturing, and all get snuffed out so you can have a pretty little piece of metal that you look at and go, ooh, isn't that nice? Yeah.
What?
So
bear in mind, that is entirely speculation.
And once again, entirely speculation.
Nobody knows how the gold was formed. Everybody speculates that it was the collapse of a neutron star.
Collision of 2 neutron stars, actually. Not just collapse of 1, it's collision of 2. Yeah.
And so but that's just speculation. That
I haven't done the math. I haven't done the math. I haven't done the labs. I haven't done the experiments. I'm going to have to take somebody's word for it that what they're saying is true. That makes it foundation of what?
Yeah.
Belief, not knowledge.
Yeah.
But as far as belief goes, okay, let's put ourselves into perspective here. If it does happen to take the collision of 2 neutron stars to make some gold, then my individual worth for the suffering that I encounter trying to make something beautiful happen on Earth is minuscule. I think we have proper perspective.
Yeah, the allegory definitely works. I'm just semantic, me. Right. I'm argumentative.
Of course. Well, if you don't argue,
if you don't maintain speculation, people go to wild places.
Exactly. All right. So Hokmah, wild intellect, unproven by anything. Binah, understanding, has been proven in something. In between them, we have an empty space that we call Dayat, and that is true knowledge. Because that comes from having married, and this is where we get that word married appearing. And I didn't provide us with a sod breakdown of the word in Hebrew, but married and understanding. When Hokmah is married and understanding, Hokmah is no longer Hokmah. Hokmah is now Dayat. Dayat is no longer just emptiness. Dayat is now something that you could actually speak about. So here we have Malkut, or voice, or this thing here.
All right.
And it has a whole bunch of arrows pointed at it. Now, this could be kind of like a needle valve. The way I'm using the model, it's a needle valve.
Right.
And all of these different arrows, it's more than two swords. Because I've got a lot of things in that seal of Solomon. A lot of things in that seal of Sargon. Right? If it has 8 points, it's got 8 points. If it's got 6 points, it's got 6 points. What's important to you to remember so that you have your right alignment? That's right. What you need in there. And so, you can make it simple. God is good. God is eternal. Okay, I'll be kind and I'll do so diligently. That's all you need. I mean, seriously, if that's all,
that'll do it.
You can do praxis from there. You can start from there and you'll be good, because everything else will come out as fruit of it. You'll get the fruit that you can plant and grow the tree of everything else, right? So those little arrows come to this whole diagram, or come from the whole diagram, because here at this point, while you're doing your inhaling and your exhaling, ultimately, whether or not you're going to be able to draw energy in to the wells, to the centers, to activate flow, depends upon whether or not the gates are opening and closing for you. You're going to get blocked up one way or the other if you have an overestimation of your own intelligence. Pride and knowledge, ego will shut you down.
That is true.
That cuts you off like a sword chopping your head off. All right. If your focus is purely materialistic, there's a limit to what that breath can do. It's not going to be activating anything for a greater manifestation than just in your immediate plane. Is this being done to reflect truth and beauty? It should have that quality. Is it being done with courage? Is it being done with mercy? Is it being done with righteousness? All of these things are affecting the flow. And so therefore, all of these things are marked in your Magen David, your Seal of Solomon, or your octagon, or your pentagon, or your pentagram, or your decadohedron, or whatever it is. Whatever it is that you need, but your tree that you've drawn is going to be correlating to allow you to harmonize from crown to your brow or your third eye, your throat, your heart, most importantly, solar plexus, your sacral, and your root chakra, all the way down from the limitless light above, if you want to think of it as above. It's not necessarily above.
Right, because, it's not necessarily above.
Three-dimensional space, high, up and down, not necessarily anything. And the eternal void down below. Yep. The void is a real thing. Think of it as being a real freaking thing. It's real, and it has teeth. But fear not. You don't have to live there.
Right.
You can live here. Here is where a man's supposed to live, in the middle of this manifestation, with all of these energetic centers, these wells harmonized. And because they're wells, we treat them like wells where we draw water. And for starters, I guess you could do the praxis. What I do, I don't know. I read a little bit what you did, so I'm not going to do the swimming pool thing. But I like to think of it as, imagine the self as a tree. Can you see? Can you see? Can't see my feet, but that's okay. All right.
I'll make it a little bit bigger.
All right, a little bit bigger. So,
Let me take.
all right. So here's me. I'm a tree. Hi, everybody. I'm a tree. All right. Also, one of the things that you need to do is get over being self-absorbed or self-conscious or anything like that. Go ahead and relax. If you got a beer gut, you got a beer gut. Let hang. Don't be uptight. You actually should probably start out by kicking your shoes off. Get your feet there. Get your shoes off. Have some loose-fitting clothes. Get your wrists loosened up. Do the same thing with your toes and your ankles. Shake everything out. All right. And whenever you're loose, in through the nose, down to as deep as you can into the gut, and then relax. And whenever you first start, don't worry about trying any deep breathing, special breathing, clenching, moving anything. Just make sure that your airway is clear. And you can take a full deep breath and out. And whenever you know that you can take a full deep breath in and out, then we're ready to start. And the starters, whenever we start, is breathing in. And while you breathe in through your nose, push your belly out of the way so your diaphragm has room to move down. So this will be a full, complete breath. So instead of pulling it up into your chest like you ordinarily might do walking around, you want to push your belly out like so. And then exhale. And after you've done that once or twice, we'll do it in a different stage. So one stage, inhale through the nose, expand the belly, and then exhale. Next time, inhale through the nose, belly expands. Now, without exhaling, bring it up into the chest. We'll continue to inhale. Now exhale. So you pushed your gut out and you drew it up and you were able to inhale both times. Amazingly enough, you're getting more oxygen into your lungs. So we're working on developing what's called a bellows breathing technique. And once we've got this, you can push your belly back out and you may discover you can get a little bit more air in. And then go ahead and tighten it back up. That's going to be enough. If you can't do out and in a couple times, working your belly out and in, don't worry about it because we're all beginners. All right, remember root chakra. That's from down below your hips to the ground. Remember, it includes your feet, including the little spot on the bottom of your feet. You want to think of your feet as being like the roots of a tree. They've just gone down into the ground. Yeah, I'm walking back and forth and getting my feet ready to be planted about shoulder width here. They're going to plant into the ground like the roots of the tree. Just like the tree wants to draw water up, you're going to be drawing water up, only it's not going to be water. It's going to be called ki, the energy of the universe. If you don't feel it at first, don't worry. Eventually you will. By the time you finish the movements, actually, you'll begin to feel it in your fingertips flowing out from your shoulders down to your palms. But I probably shouldn't tell you that because now you're going to be thinking that's what you're going to feel. And whenever you feel it, you can't help but wonder, is that because he told me? Usually I don't bother telling people. And they go, what was that? That's called heat. Yes, it is real. All right. So we start out by doing our breathing with the hands down here. And the image that we want to think of is I am going to be reaching down and I'm going to be drawing water up. And I'm drawing water up as if I'm going to be lifting it up in my hands. So like I'm cupping water in my hands. But at the same time, if you can visualize it, drawing the water up through your roots into this tree that you're being, right? And then as you complete the breath inwards, pass above your head, is still inhaling. And this is the cool part. Whenever you get to the top here, you're going to stretch up with your feet still firm against the floor. You're not going to rise up on your toes. Keep your feet, like the palms of your feet, flat, the labor points of your feet still flat on the floor. But reach up all the way so that you have elongated, from the side, you'll have elongated your trunk, your body. And you'll discover at this point, you can actually inhale just a little bit more. And at this point, go ahead, begin the exhale as you bring your arms out and down to your sides. And if you're going to be envisioning that water that you've drawn up through the breathing process, brought up to the limbs, up to the branches of the tree, and now out, like respiration from the branches are going to be circulating out into the area and the air around you. So that energy is now in a flow. You're going to be creating a toroidal flow of energy like this. And it's going to be feeding up from below, but you're also going to be capturing from the air around. This is your own energy circulating in. As you're doing this, you might think about the quality of this energy. Does it feel calm? Does it feel healthy? How does it feel? Do you want it to feel like that? How would you like for it to change? Start thinking about how you'd like for it to change and how you'd like for it to feel. And that's kind of your basic circulation and energy work using tree diagram.
Very interesting.
If that makes any sense. And of course, you're going to be doing your breathing while you're doing this. I can't talk and tell you the breaths at the same time.
Well, yeah.
But for more detail on breathing and the energy work, there is a book that you can get. There it is, a series of unconventional beliefs, and I think it's like right around page 62. You start getting into the
sounds about right
into the hardcore practice, and
the first 4 chapters are just preparing you to learn things.
Right. And so, like I said, I'm showing you this is kind of the movement thing that I do another one where I'm in a pool and moving the waves like this, and you can feel it.
You really can.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's what this whole thing.
But that particular exercise is a little bit too much like the one that you teach, so I didn't want it.
Well, I mean, it's because it works.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
people conceptualize that we're in air, but we're not. We're in plasma, and the expression of that plasma is not solid like it is underneath us.
We're suspended in magnetic fields in
this is an expression of liquid plasma, and so it's all the same thing in a different state.
Mm-hmm.
And so the corporeality is real, but it is the exact same thing as the water.
Right.
The adaptability and what is around you is potential energy.
Right.
That potential energy is contained in the plasma.
Right.
And so you can move that.
Yep. Now, we're talking about other ways to talk about the movement of energy. I like to talk about it like electrical transformers and radio waves, because I understand electrical transformers and radio waves. Prisms and light works too. I wish I had prisms. I should probably get some. That way we can show you with prisms. That would be cool. But they used to do it with music back in the old days. In the Pythagorean school, I plugged the amplifier in so that we can hopefully, if I pluck a note, it'll sound. All right. If you have an instrument that's properly in tune, and I got to make sure that it is first. A there, okay. D good. G's the way it should be. B's actually in. E's a little off. Okay, E's on. Okay, it's close enough. Acoustic electrics are wonderful. They've got a tuner built in. All right. Let's see. All right. Now, if you strike a note and just let it ring, the note sustains. That's because the string is vibrating. It keeps on vibrating. As long as it's vibrating, it'll produce the note.
Right.
If I put my finger over the string that was vibrating, note stops.
Yep.
String's not vibrating, no sound. Okay, so far so good. All right. Get up here so that you can see. All right. Now, as it turns out, there are different notes on the guitar. They keep on, you pluck them, they keep on ringing. You stop the string, they stop ringing. So far so good. If I wanted to make this note here, but I wanted to make it on this string here. Oh, sorry. I'm noisy. This string here, the next string up, right? I can do that by making this string shorter. so the wavelength is shorter.
Tighter, more compact.
Now this string, whenever I let it rings, and it sounds like, I mean, that's two different strings there and there, but it's the same note.
Right.
Now here's the cool part. I can pluck one string, deaden it. Oh, hang on. I can pluck the string, deaden it. And did you hear a little ring afterwards?
It's not picking up though.
The mic isn't getting it?
It's not. Like I was trying to listen for it, but
I might have to turn up the gain. Okay. Well, if I can't show it with the guitar, it's not gonna be as nice. But the idea is, if I pluck a string, it starts up this vibration. I stop it, but the string right next to it is tuned to the same note, so it picks up the vibration too, even though I didn't touch it. Whenever I deaden the first string, it keeps on ringing, so the note sustains, even though I stopped the one that I started it on.
like that picked up a little bit.
Can you, yeah, I don't want to blow your speakers out here.
Right.
I might be able to do a little preamp. Hang on. Okay. Ooh, yeah, we're at 3. Pardon the neighbors. All right.
You can hear it if you know what you're listening for.
Right. All right. So we pick it, and then if I stop the other string that was vibrating, it stops the sound. Right. So it would ring until I stop the other string. Now this is kind of cool because I can do this on another string. This is the B. Ooh, wow. Sorry. That's the B. And if I pluck with my finger on this fret here, the string next to it, I get the same note. It's still sustaining. You hear it?
Yeah.
It rings. Well, let's do this. Well, we know it's the string right next to it. So I'll pluck it and then I'll deaden both strings. Here we go. Wait, it's still ringing. What's going on? It's still ringing. There's another string it's playing on. And it's this big low E up here. But the big low E is a different note. So what gives? What gives is the low E has such a long frequency that that B note with a short frequency can complete one full cycle inside that first periodicity. And it creates what's called a harmonic. And it rings with its own note inside of the E string.
Nice.
So by that method, the sonic vibration was being caused to pass through the air from one physically vibrating object to another physical object, transferring the kinetic energy from one to the other, so long as they are attuned with each other. If they're not in tune with each other, there's no mutual harmonic anything. You know, I can take this note, and well, okay, the E is probably not a good example. None of the other strings can pick up that harmonic and carry it, right? So
but if you had a high E, that would pick it up.
Right, I do have a high E. That's why I was like, oh yeah, I've got a high E. I forgot. I've got a high E. It can still resonate.
Yeah.
So as long as, and this also goes back to the parent-child principle. The thing that you actually have the ability, let me go ahead and switch this thing off so it's not in the background, unless you want to just hear music. Ooh, yeah, up to 3. Gotta be careful. I can really cause the windows to disappear if I'm not careful. That's a pretty decent amplifier for
nice.
It's a garage sale Gibson. But in any case, if you are attuning to something, for example, all the good, right? The reflection in the child should be kind. I have little watchwords. Like if I'm thinking of my idea of the good of God, I want the good of God, then I need to be kind. That's the correspondent attunement.
That's a good one.
All right. If I'm looking for the source of all knowledge, I know that I have to kind of be patient and await the completion of the process from that diagram that we just looked at, right? I can't jump straight across.
Right.
I have to apply patience to achieve the real knowledge. So that harmonization word is there on my sigil on the floor, or on the glyph or the seal on the floor, to remind me, yes, you need to be patient through this process. So it's there. Now, is it actually physically on the floor, or is it just in my conjuring room in my mind, right?
Right, and that's a major distinction, because once it's a physical object, people lose the understanding of it.
Well, yeah. Well, the entire reason for making the physical object was for the individual that needed that physical reminder.
Right.
If you didn't need the physical reminder, you don't need it. Like, really, you do not need to have a room lined with gold.
Right. Yeah.
Envisioning gold light does connect you to that address of God is good. Yeah. So that's the reason why you want it. But can you envision gold light? Well, if you can envision gold light, then you can line your conjuring room with gold here. And anywhere you are is a place where you can be in your conjuring room with all the watchwords around you to remind you how to be appropriately aligned, so that you are the child connected to the parent, so that whenever you stand there and breathe as an honest being, they're drawing from above and below, uniting heaven and the earth, then you can manifest magic right there on the spot by everything that you speak, because your words are true. We're as close as they can be in this place. I have to add that little caveat because there hasn't been a true word ever spoken here.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, nobody knows what the truth actually is. So
exactly, we don't have real truth. We can get close,
and the best we can do is try to find it. We will never actually find it. We just have to try.
Yep. Okay. Did I miss anything? Did we cover it all?
That was all of the map.
We didn't go into the actual breakdown of the letters or the words or anything. I think discovering the English variants is fine.
It worked well enough. Like I'm sure that there is some more significance that can be extracted.
Okay. So for example, Hokmah, it's I believe it's spelled with het, but often they pronounce it with a ch, and it's like it's a het, it's Hokmah, and but they spell it with a ch there, but that character is a kaf, so it's Hokmah. It's not hok, it's
right.
Hokmah. But they often say Hokmah like that's supposed to be a ch. That's a misspelling. It shouldn't be that way. But there you have the water shelter protection covered by life, Hokmah, or something. That's supposed to be wisdom.
Water shelter protection life is all the same thing,
I suppose. There we go. But the water we are interested in, of course, is the living water. That's the shin. That's the spirit. That's also the esh, or the ash, the fire.
Right.
The fire within. And we want to ignite the fire within.
Fire is the change it.
There we go. That's it. That's it, guys. That's the tree. That's the tree of knowledge. If you want to know more about gematria, of course, Pleasant Light's good. This is actually not too bad, although I'm probably going to expand on it in the book I'm writing, which is Father's Gardening Manual, which is not done yet. I'm only on like page 13, and I'm getting ready to rewrite everything.
There you go.
Hey, no, because I realized
what it takes. It takes a lot to write a book.
Yeah, I was like, okay. And, oh, yeah, do I want to put the graphics here in correspondence to the section where I'm writing about, or do I want to put them all in one segment? If I put them all in one segment, then whoever's doing this is going to have to thumb back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
Right.
But if I do it like this, I'm going to have to come up with that format now before I ever get to sending it to a publisher.
And like that's where I'm doing
one inch indentation, 12 DPI, Times New Roman. Yay!
Yeah. Choose your font, choose your book, choose your what's your margin width going to be? What's your there are so many decisions that go into it that people just don't even understand.
The entire process is bewildering. I think that's the reason why.
That's a big problem too. Is it's been gatekept in such a way that if you pay me for my course, then I can guide you through this process in a way that you'd be
or you submit your manuscript to our publishing house and we will decide what the public gets to see.
Right. For me, the publishing house was never an idea. I'm sure I could go to Hay House and they would eat it up. But there are stipulations that go along with that. They include control systems. Mm-hmm. And I'm not involved with any control system. I follow God through spirit as best as he directs me.
Yep.
And so I don't need an intermediary between us or anything. And sometimes those control systems, even publishing houses, have their own stipulations.
Yeah. All right. So before we go, I'm going to introduce everybody to a control system. All right. Here's a control system for you. It is functionally a kingdom without a physical king. We call the king Father. And let's see, what's the most important thing you need to know about Father? Oh yes, God is good.
God is good all the time.
God is good, and yes, God is good. God is eternal. So God's children will be kind and do so with diligence. So there's 7 wells. So there's 7 oaths to go with 7 wells. Although we were told not to swear oaths. You make up your own mind about these particular ones. The first one, of course, is, and we'll go ahead and use Yahweh in the proper fashion. As you're entering into your circle, as you're preparing to do your work, as you're getting yourself into alignment, you don't just simply say, I am. You say, I was, I am, I will be.
Okay.
As you go through the iteration of, as God is kind, I was, I am, I will be. And of course, you have to be honest with yourself as you go through this process. Because what you're absolutely doing is charting a course. You have to have a place where you're coming from, a place where you're going to, and a knowledge of where you are to chart a course. And if you're not honest about these things, you will run up against rocks and shoals.
Yeah.
So very important. I was, I am, I will be. So as God is good, I will be kind. As God is eternal, I will be diligent. These are oaths. There's 7 of them.
Okay.
Right? As God is the source of knowledge, all knowledge, I'll be patient. That's another good one. Right? Let's see. As God is all powerful, I will be humble. That one's rough. Especially whenever you start getting to the point where you know things or you think you know things.
Yeah.
Having been there quite a lot. Even recently. I think last year I had this epiphany that I knew nothing. And about that time I was like, oh. Then all of a sudden things start clicking and falling into place.
Right.
Why is it that whenever you get to that point, when you go, okay, I don't actually really know anything, do I?
Right.
That's whenever you start getting revelations. All right, so we got I need to get this thing here. I'm horrible. I got my cheat sheet. All right. Because God is faithful, I will be temperate. Or as God is faithful, so will I be temperate. This is another oath. Faithful, of course, in this sense means the same creator. It's the creator hasn't suddenly switched. We haven't gone from Konami hosting to IKEA.
Right.
Right? Whoever it is that's in charge of the reality is the same now
All the
as
time.
yesterday, as otherwise charting a course would be pointless. It would be subject to the change at the whims of whoever that was. There'd be no point. But because God is faithful, I'll be temperate. And of course, we understand that temperance is not, I'm going to avoid drinking alcohol.
Right.
It's I'm going to be moderate in all of my passions, in all things. I'm going to be seeking that balance in all things. Temperance. The next one is, as God is perfect, so will I be sincere. And I could say, so will I be honest, but being honest, you have to realize that you can never quite totally be. So sincere is close enough. And then finally, and this one relates, all of these relate to the wells, to the chakras.
Right.
As God is complete and lacking nothing, and that's really, actually, I'm kind of making an assumption here. This is faith, that whatever is on the other side of that pair of hands that's dividing this from that and causing the form to emerge from the formless, whatever this is complete, or maybe just complete enough with a pile of marbles on their desk. Once again, beyond the point of speculation. So as far as we're concerned, must be complete. In any case, I know that I have brothers who lack. So because God is complete, I'll be charitable. Now, sometimes charity means you're charitable with time. Sometimes it's, I'm charitable with respect. Maybe you haven't necessarily earned it yet, but I'm going to offer it to you anyway because you haven't really done anything to deserve disrespect.
Right.
It's not always physical monetary wealth that is charity. There are many different kinds of capital. Sometimes it's just helping somebody out that needs it.
And money is only in exchange for time.
Being that hand, being the gimel. If we want to go back to what was it, week 3, being the gimel to help provide samek to complete. That's week 4. The wishes that those other faces of God out there in the universe that you're encountering have, and of course, you're answering God's wishes. So, what do you think God's going to do for you?
Yeah.
Feed the field. Put your treasure into that field. Because that's the reward that comes out of it is a reward that is an entire world that provides.
Yeah.
And whenever you have that, things become so easy. So easy to the point where it is almost as if, and perhaps even is, where I speak and the universe responds. But you don't get there by wishful thinking. You get there through the path of discipline and self-improvement.
Yeah. If there is no action, there is no manifestation. Yep. No positive input, no positive output. Fundamental physics.
There you go. So I guess we don't really have a next week unless we figure something out now, because that's pretty much it. You guys could take that and rock and roll all the way to wherever you want to take it, I think.
Yeah, it's laid out fairly well. Like, it's understandable for sure. And while people may have a different expression of it, that doesn't mean that anything is wrong or right.
As long as that central pillar that you have is God is the all good, and I as the reflection of the all good am the embodiment, the kindness, and I am constant. That's what the boundary is. That's what
I've got 7 checks, but they're slightly different. But it's 7 checks, and some of them overlap.
Right.
Like for me, it's a love wrath check, and the kindness is the balance between love and wrath.
Exactly.
The balance between lust and chastity is sacred union. The balance between gluttony and denial is moderation. So they're there, they're just slightly different.
Right. And also find the balance that you need for you, because everybody is a different expression and manifestation of that word of being. your version of it's not going to be mine, and this thing that helps me get optimized is not going to be the thing that helps you get optimized.
Right. Everybody's
Not
got
to
slightly
mention,
different. That's why
don't
we're all
always look
here.
at me for your
If we
exemplar
were all
either,
the same,
because I am not the most diligent. I'm not. I do try to be fairly diligent with kindness, but
I'm fairly diligent.
That's once again, this is an ongoing process.
Yeah.
I am in the process of becoming more kind day by day. I am in the process of becoming more diligent day by day. And some of that does require that you have friends that hold your feet to the fire and say, hey, look, you're waffling. The thing that you're saying isn't real knowledge. That's just belief.
Right.
Or did you remember to drop and do your 40 today? Or whatever. And you don't have to do 40 push-ups every day.
Right.
That's just the thing that I said for me. I want to do that.
Right. You set your own goals, and honestly, you need to be able to hold yourself to them. Your friends are there.
Yeah. And that's also another thing. Set goals that you know you can reach.
Yes.
Set goals you know you can reach. And even if they're stupid, tiny little things. I mean, stupid, tiny little things. Like, I will remember to brush my teeth today. I'm going to write it with lipstick on the mirror because I want to be better at hygiene. So, okay, I'm going to remember to brush my teeth today. I'm going to write it with lipstick on the mirror. Hey, Jason, brush your teeth. When I walk by the mirror, I'm going to see it. Okay, that's a reminder to brush my teeth. Okay, I'm going to brush your teeth. Whatever it is, and whenever you do it, you go, hey, I accomplished something.
Small steps beat no steps every time.
Take a journal, write down what you want to accomplish, write down your biggest, wildest, gnarliest dream, the thing that just is impossible. And then
break it into steps.
Small
steps beat no steps every single time.
And even if it's an impossible dream, still share it.
Yeah.
Share it with as many people as will listen to the dream. And whenever you share it, whenever the people go, that'll never happen, you don't need their help. But you'll find people that go, that's a cool dream. I wish you luck on that. That's encouragement. We'll take that. Right. Or I think I know a way that step could be accomplished. You see, you won't find the person that can help you accomplish a step if you weren't sharing the dream.
Right.
So the fact that it's impossible doesn't matter. Share it. My dream is a world of peace and harmony where people are standing upright on their own 2 feet and ruling themselves correctly so that we don't need control systems anymore.
Yeah.
And we can tell them bye-bye. No more control systems.
You don't need to feed off of us anymore. No more miasma.
Right. No more control systems. We set the mind, the body, and the spirit free.
Right.
Yep.
If I can show you how to do it, I will. And if I can't, I'll try. All right, Jason. Well, I appreciate you being on. I'm going to go ahead and do the thing. That's going to bring us to the end of the PittCast for today. Hopefully, we brought a little bit of enlightenment and not too much confusion, maybe a little bit of humor to some very complicated subjects. Understand that neither one of us consider ourselves to be a master. We are, however, on a path trying to attain enlightenment. We may have some small nuggets to help other people, lights to shine in the darkness to light the way, but even if you don't find our way, you can get close enough to find your target. If you really like what I'm doing over here, let me know down below. Give me a like, share, or follow. Throw me a comment, whether you agree or disagree with anything that was said. Put it in the box down below, and if it remains respectful, it gets to remain up. If you really like what's going on over here, hit me with that super thanks. Consider joining for a membership, picking up a copy of my book where I teach you to do magic responsibly, or reaching out to me for a consultation on Connect. The link is provided down below. To the crew, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate every single minute that you are here with me, and I am praying for you every single day. Until next time, I love you. God loves you. You are perfect, whole, and complete, just the way that you are. And this has been Pitt's Take. Peace.